Hi there. Today I want to share with you as to how to make a soft, tasty, moist sponge cake. With these few ingredients, you can make yourself a lovely cake. Now, if this video is helpful to you, you can like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. There's more stuff that's coming, so you don't miss out. We've got fish biryani, we've got mushroom sauce perfect for the braai, we've got chicken livers similar to the Nando's chicken livers, we've got mutton curry, we've got chicken curry, we've got garlic naans, and we've also, I'll share with you as to how to mix your masala so you have great tasting curries. So that's also going to be coming up on the next videos. And as you can see, the cupboard on the left hand side, this cupboard is basically made with few hand tools. There's no pneumatic tools, there's no heavy duty tools, there's no air compressors, nail guns, etc. It's just few hand tools that you will have lying around the house. So on my next videos I will show you how to do that. So let's get started in baking our cake. These are the ingredients that I have to bake this cake. Is rama butter, is vanilla essence. Now I've used self-raising flour because it gives the cake a bit of much more texture, a bit of feel, texture, and it basically bakes well. So this is what I use, self-raising flour and not cake flour. We have baking powder, and we also have some castor sugar, 2 eggs. Now I've tried, and it was a trial and sort of error. I've tried 4 eggs. Basically, a lot of recipes say 4 eggs, 6 eggs, but I've actually cut it down to 2 eggs because it's more than sufficient for this cake, this size cake. So you don't want to get that eggish taste that's a bit, it gets you a bit nauseous if you actually put more than 2 eggs. For a cake this size, this is about a 20 centimeter radius pan with about 3 centimeter height, so that'll be perfect for this cake. And I've also got this is the rama butter. I've already melted it, and this is a 200 ml cup, so exactly half is 100 ml, so there's 100 ml of butter in there. Also, what you can do is, if you have 2 of these pans, you can make also the Italian sponge cake, where you have 2 cakes and you have 2 sponges with your cream in the center, so you can double your ingredients, and you can of course make 2 and of course have your Italian sponge cake, or Victoria sponge cake, what they call it. So anyway, we have this here, and we've also got this is basically optional. This is some chocolate, I've got some almonds. This optional. So, and some rainbow sprinkles. Now this is all optional. It's basically how you want to decorate your cake. So uh, so let's get started. I've also used something extra as milk. Gives your sponge cake a little bit more spongy feel and a little taste. A quarter glass milk, that's basically I put in there. So let's get started. So what we're gonna do is we're going to crack our eggs, and we need a fork for this. So we crack our eggs. It's 2 eggs basically, and that's 2 eggs. That's basically 2 eggs in there. So it's advisable to use a mixer, because of course you will get a better, smoother mixture. But I'm going to use a whisk. So basically, the next ingredient you add is your castor sugar. Now your castor sugar, basically you need, this is a 200 ml cup, so basically you put in half a cup of this castor sugar. So you put in half a cup of the castor sugar, right? Half a cup of the castor sugar, and basically you can also use a fork, or you can use your whisk just to give it a bit of a stir. You'll stay in that there. So basically you use your whisk just to mix it up, and so basically that's done. So the next ingredient you can put in is your, now before you actually use the butter, there's one special way to bake a cake, is to take a little butter off the pan. Let's see, it's getting a little hard. Off the pan. Let me just put this in the microwave for a quick second. It's getting a little bit hard. Okay, just give it a second in the microwave, and that's in the microwave, getting a little bit soft. So basically the secret of baking the cake so it doesn't get stuck to the pan is butter and some self-raising flour. We have the flour, so this is the out of the microwave. So we have, you take a little melted butter and you actually put it onto the pan. So basically we're going to grease the pan with Rama butter and not oil. So you don't want a greasy cake. So basically you basically got to grease the pan lightly, and one of the methods to not get your cake stuck to the pan is basically some baking powder. I'm going to show you how that's done. It's one of the secrets to baking a cake and not getting it stuck. So basically you have some of your self-raising flour. You can take your self-raising flour and you can just sprinkle that in there. So basically, as you can see, it covers all the areas. So when you put it in your cake tin, and it does not stick to the pan. Okay. So basically, that's basically what you have. So you can take your cake off the oven from your pan so it doesn't get stuck. Okay, so what we have next? So we've got our egg, and we also have our castor sugar there. So the next step, you can use your Rama butter. Put in your Rama butter. Okay, so we can give that a quick stir. Alright, and then you can add in your milk, so it gives you a better spongy feel and the taste. So you put in your quarter glass cup milk in there, and you give that a quick stir up. So basically that's how it is. Alright, and we have baking powder. Now baking powder, you can use 1 tablespoon baking powder. 1 tablespoon baking powder, right? So 1 tablespoon of baking powder. That will be sufficient for this for this cake. So once you put that in, get a little bit stuck on, so just about 1 tablespoon of that. So we've got all our ingredients. So basically you actually mix all together. So once you mix that, better to use a mixer, of course. And lastly, we have our self-raising flour. Our self-raising flour is basically 200 mils is a full cup. So we need to put a full cup of this. So we put in a full cup of baking powder. Now if you notice, if you use an extra butter, what happens is that it settles at the bottom of your cake. So once it settles at the bottom of your cake, and when you're baking it, it does not cook well, or bake well, sorry, and it ends up, your cake on the outer side gets burnt and on the inner side is wet. So you don't put too much of butter in the cake. So basically we give it a quick mix, and we almost done with this cake. So we're almost done. So let me preheat the oven to okay. So we preheated the oven to 180 degrees, and for 20 minutes. This sponge cake does not take more than 20 minutes to get ready. So don't bake it over or more than 20 minutes. So give it a nice mix. It's also good to use a sieve for your powder, your self-raising powder, so it gets a much more smoother mix. Okay, that is quite good mix. So your vanilla essence, now I've actually cut all this down to, it's 2 caps of vanilla essence on to the mix. It's about 2 caps, and that is sufficient for 2 caps. All right, so once we've got that there, okay, we have used up all our ingredients. Okay, so we give that a proper mix. Smells absolutely, you can actually smell that, absolutely lovely. So this is basically all done. So you can have a try and have a quick taste. Brilliant. So if you actually smell this, it smells absolutely lovely. You do not get that eggy smell that which makes you nauseous. So it's absolutely, taste is fine. So right, so everything is all done. This is basically how it looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in a pan, and let's give it one more mix. Now notice the mix is a little weak, so what you can do is you can add a little more of your self-raising flour to get it a little thick, slightly thick. It's a little weak. Okay, that looks absolutely fine. So basically, we're gonna pour this into the pan and okay. So if you notice, it is at the bottom because it will of course inflate as it's baking. So I'm going to put this into the oven. The oven is ready for 20 minutes. Now when you put this cake into the oven, one of the secrets is you do not open the oven after 20 minutes. So what happens is if you open it in between, your cake automatically deflates, so you cannot, it'll be almost flat, so it doesn't give you that rise. So that's one of the secrets. So basically after 20 minutes, this takes 20 minutes to bake. So we're going to put this into the oven. Okay, that is set for 20 minutes and we'll see you shortly once that is done, so we can see the results after. See you shortly. So basically this is, we've got like at just about 12 minutes left on our time. As you can see, it's in the oven and it's looking lovely. Always remember, do not open your oven, the cake will deflate, and once it deflates you cannot do anything to get it up again. So that's what it looks like in the oven. And on my next videos I will show you how to build, this is the kitchen cupboards, basically running all that way with your lighting systems, and basically this is what we have all done by hand tools. So that's on our upcoming video, so don't miss out on that one. Okay, as you can see, I've took it out of the oven and I've got it onto the granite piece because this is wet and it will burn. Granite can withstand heat, so give it 5 minutes to cool down and it should be fine. Now earlier on I've made something similar, but I've used some coconuts, sorry, almonds into the cake, and basically I broke it into small pieces and in the mixture, and of course I use some rainbow sprinkles on it and some chocolate on it. So basically I've tried that. So now I'm just going to be making a plain with a cake with a chocolate topping. So this is the one that was made earlier on. So as you can see, that is the only piece that is actually left of the cake. So let's have a look at this cake. Most importantly, it's not the the decorations on the cake. The most important thing is the sponge cake, the softness, the texture, and the moisture. So let's have a look at this. So it is okay. It's not very hot, but it can hold it. So let's put it here and have a look at how this came. This is basically how it looks. So take a fork and you can just lightly to the sides. Remember, now the secret into not making your cake stick to the pan is you could use cake flour or self-raising flour on the pan. Make sure you put your butter, grease it lightly with butter and cake flour or self-raising flour to dust it on the pan, baking pan, so it doesn't stick. So when you do that, basically you get a perfect sponge cake. Now if you look carefully at this sponge cake, the most importantly is the sponge itself. So now if you actually look at let me bring it closer so you can actually look at this, how it's made and the texture of the sponge cake. Now if you have a look carefully of the sponge cake, if you press it, you can see it's absolutely soft. It's spongy, it's absolutely soft. So if you can see how soft the texture of this cake is, although you can press it all the way in and you can pick it up, you can actually see the texture of this perfect sponge cake. Now let's cut into the sponge cake and let's have a look how the inside of the sponge cake is. Okay. Now here we go. Now if you look at the sponge cake very carefully, there is no moisture settling at the bottom because we did not use too much butter. So that what happens when you use too much of butter. So now this here is actually moist and soft. If you actually look at it, it's actually soft and perfect to eat. So when you're eating this cake, it's not too dry in your mouth. So basically let's cut a piece and try. So basically on this here you can actually sprinkle grate some chocolates on it. So how you want to make your decorations, it's entirely up to you. So basically this is how you make a perfect sponge cake. This is the most important part of the cake, your sponge of the cake. So let's have a cut into this. Let's have a look at this. Here we go. We're going much closer so you can have a look at this actual cake. You can actually see the texture of this sponge cake. Not too sweet, not too dry, and not too greasy. It's perfectly made, perfectly fine. Taste absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So as I said, decorations on the cake is up to you. Like this one here, I've used the sprinkles and I've also used the chocolate. So that was earlier on today. I made that and it's almost finished basically. So this is just a general ordinary sponge cake. I hope you guys liked the video and it was helpful to you, so you can make a simple, plain, lovely, tasty, spongy sponge cake in your home, in your own home with your ingredients that you will have in your cupboard. Take care. Enjoy.